In 1973, while Schaefer was out on bail awaiting trial for the kidnapping of the two teen girls, Paula and Nancy, police made a gruesome discovery at his mother's house. Investigators found a stash of personal belongings belonging to the missing women. Items such as jewelry, diaries, and photographs were recovered, linking him to the disappearances of several women. Police also discovered writings, sketches, and morbid stories in Schaefer's home that seemed to reflect his sadistic fantasies and intentions. As the investigation continued, what emerged was a portrait of a highly intelligent but deeply disturbed individual. Schaefer was a man who delighted in inflicting pain and fear on his victims. He would often kidnap, torture, and kill young women in remote areas, sometimes binding them to trees or even hanging them. Schaefer took advantage of his police training to avoid detection. There's no definitive answer on when or where he actually began killing, or even how many people he may have murdered. Sometimes he hinted at the number of victims he killed, while also denying any murders. Schaefer's known victims list is a disturbing look into his actions and patterns, though, and they're connected by horrifying similarities. So let's start with 1966, Nancy Elaine Leichner and Pamela Ann Nader, who disappeared while hiking. Although authorities initially believed that they had drowned, Schaefer later confessed to their murders. From there, in September 1969, there's Lee Bonadies, remember his neighbor that he used to spy on as a kid? Well, her remains were found in 1978 with 3 gunshot wounds to her body. This strange connection to Lee doesn't end there, though. Lee went missing roughly around the time that Schaefer's parents got divorced in 1969. At the time, Lee had told her husband that she had been contacted by a friend who worked for the CIA and he wanted to offer her a job. Then she got in her car and was never seen alive again. Now, this is a strange coincidence because at the time when Schaefer was confronting the emotional turmoil of childhood and the separation of his parents, he returned to a figure of his past when he was merely a teen, and that woman was Lee Bonadies. Another probable victim, Carmen Marie Halleck, went missing in December of 1969, and items belonging to her were later found at Schaefer's home. And then there are 2 young girls, both below the age of 10, Peggy Ron and Wendy Stevenson, who disappeared from Pompano Beach just after Christmas in 1969, and Schaefer would later claim responsibility, though some investigators would end up questioning his story.